everybody. Thank you so much, Ms. Conwell and Ms. Palmer. Super excited to be here. And my name is Renata. I went to a Lake Center for 2 years, graduated in 2018 with my AA, and had a super awesome experience there as a student athlete. I was on a volleyball team, and I had no idea which university I was going to go into or what was going to happen after I transferred. So I'm very it's awesome to see that they did the work of putting this workshop together with every single little tip and detail that you're going to need to transfer. Because back then I didn't really exactly do that, and I didn't really know many of those things, and they would have helped. So I'm very glad that you guys are taking advantage of it. So kudos to you for being here, and also um, just for participating and answering questions in the chat. I would love for this to be interactive too. So if you have any questions or if you want to interrupt me at any time, please feel free to do that. So I want to tell you a little bit about my experience in three different parts: before, during, and after. So that's before, when I was still a student at Lake Sumter, trying to figure out the application process, from the moment that I got accepted into the university, and then trying to figure out the move to USF. And then also during the process, so when I first got accepted, and then doing the orientation and um, the classes and career services, and figuring out my schedule and what classes to sign up for, and then after. So which classes I had to select, or how the classes were, how different they were from Lake Sumter, and then also the ways that I got involved and what I did after my time at USF, all the way to now where I am. I just graduated from USF last year in May with a bachelor's in global business and marketing. And I'm currently a uniform sales rep at Cintas Corporation. And most of you have not heard of it because it's a B2B company. So we advertise to businesses, not customers, but it's a Fortune 500 company. And we are in the area of uniforms, facility services, fire, and first aid. So many different areas, but I only cover the facility services and uniforms. So let's talk about the before. So when I was still a student, I was hearing that many times: you have to apply ahead, you have to do everything early, apply and get your name out there. And I didn't really understand why, because I think if I had understood exactly why, I would have started earlier. And the why behind it is you have to send them a lot of documents, and those documents take a long time to process. So as an international student, for example, international students are a whole different story because you have to get all of your legal stuff right. But just to give you an example, so we have to prove that we have a certain amount of money to go into that school, because that has to show in the I-20 form that we give the government when we come in the country. So to get a statement takes a long time. If you don't have that bank statement, if you don't have that amount of money, you need to have a sponsor. So like I didn't, right? I was looking for scholarships. I didn't have money. I was paying, I was trying to work my way to go to college. I was like pulling weeds, cleaning houses in the summer right before going to school to try to fundraise everything. Not fundraise, but work and get that money. But I didn't know that it was going to take that long. I didn't know that transcripts took a while to process either. And before we did everything online, we were trying to send everything through mail. So that was something that took longer. And fortunately, I was able to get everything done. But that is something that I would like to advise you to do, or just a suggestion. Check out what documents you need to send them. And everybody, all of your advisors are going to have those answers, and also the admissions office at the school that you're going to is going to have those answers. So look for those documents at first and just create a list. What are the things that I need to submit? I'm doing that right now with grad school, and the process has been much better because I just asked them for a list and they send me the list and I know exactly what I have to do. So that's an idea there. And the other thing is, there are schools that you're going into that are super competitive. It's hard to get in. So what other ways can you navigate the admissions process to get your name out there and to get them to recognize you? So one of the suggestions, I know that they mentioned LinkedIn, but think about LinkedIn as another way to get around admissions, not just the job search process, and not just as a student or to get research, but to get admitted, to reach out to those people. And sometimes it's not really the admissions office that's going to have all the answers. Think about this. If you were a professor and you have a student reaching out to you, a student from a totally different university or college reaching out to you and saying, oh my gosh, I read a little bit of a research and I thought it was awesome. And I would love to help you with that research. And I'm applying to become a student at your university. Do you mind having a quick call, 10 to 15 minutes? I can send your calendar invite and we can take it from there and just hearing about you. That professor is going to be so impressed that they're going to send you, they're going to send, not you, they're going to send the admissions office or whoever's in charge of admitting students a note, right? They're going to say, wow, look at this student. They're trying to reach out to me first, and just complimenting my work. That's something that is different. Not everybody does that. So that's not really the traditional way. And you can do that with not just professors, but you can also do them with advisors and people that are in charge of the school. I know that there's a lot of different departments in universities, right? It's a much bigger scenario. So reaching out to those people, that was also helpful. So to me, that's what I found with jobs and finding interviews, right? You don't really have to just apply and wait until they call you for the interview. Try to get an interview first. So I would suggest doing that in the academic process as well. Next thing is scholarships. Everybody wants scholarships, right? Who doesn't? So when I first applied, I looked at the scholarships that were available, and there was one scholarship that I qualified for. That was the PTK scholarship, because I was in a part of PTK, Phi Theta Kappa, the honor society at Lake Sumter. And I looked at that scholarship, but the deadline had passed. It was like 3 months after the deadline. And I'm like, dang it, like I'm not gonna apply. Now I lost all this money and I was eligible for it. So I was like, you know what? The worst that's gonna happen is I'm gonna get a no. So I applied 3 months after the deadline and I still got it. It was just completely out of the blue and it happened. So make sure that you know all the scholarships that you're eligible for and try. Just go out, apply, ask questions, ask people, and sometimes it's going to happen. And that was a huge, huge help for me. Let's see what else. So uh, one thing that I didn't really think about was housing, because like Sumter, you just have a couple of different places that you can go to, or you're living at home. So when I came in to USF, I thought the only way, or the best way, would be to get an apartment on campus, right? There are many different ones, and you can just grab one there, and you can have roommates, and it's not as expensive as the best apartment styles. So thankfully I didn't, because I met somebody at orientation that was a student, and she was a peer leader. I'm just talking to her. She told me about this Facebook group that had all of the apartments and the best deals and subleasing, and everything that had to do with housing was in that Facebook group. So I joined them that day, and I met many different people that were subleasing their apartments, and I was gonna pay double what I ended up paying with them if I had lived on campus. So maybe before going in, you don't even have to join a Facebook group, but just go around campus and look for different places and ask people, because they're going to tell you, they're going to know, oh, this is the party place, or this is the place where they allow pets, or just different scenarios like that. So that was something that I did last minute, and I wish I had done it a little bit earlier. So as soon as you get accepted, maybe just go around campus and find out information about housing. So now transitioning to the during process. So many of you, I don't know if it was many, I saw one of the comments said that you're unsure of what you are gonna do. So I was unsure as well. I had no clue. I thought it was gonna be law at first when I went to Lake Sumter, that I wanted to go to law school. And then when I went to, when I took a little bit of the business classes there, economics, those classes were so awesome that I just wanted to go into business. And then I was like, yeah, I'm just going to do business. It's such a awesome major. You can do whatever you want. So when I was doing business, my first semester there, I met so many other people, many different other majors, that I decided to change my major. So I did all that, right? I didn't know, I didn't have it figured out, changed my major, and everything was okay. At the end of the day, everything is going to work out. But what I wish I had done was talk to career services beforehand. So as soon as I know that I got accepted, I would schedule an appointment with your career advisor, and also people that are in charge of connecting you to recruiters and people that come looking for students. So I talked to somebody who had a title as a coach. So they were like a wellness coach and person that just helped you during your journey at USF, and she was incredible. And I don't think I could have done a good job in college if it wasn't for her help. So reaching out to those people and finding out what majors and doing that search process too, because you are only going to know when you first start getting a little bit of experience with that subject. You don't know that you don't want it or that you do want it until then. Of course, there's a lot of things that you can do beforehand, but if you can get your hands-on experience a little bit, I know that it's going to be a good thing for you. So they can tell you, hey, what about this questionnaire? Fill this out. See what kind of answer returns from it, and that can give you a little bit of a segue into knowing which field you want to go into. So reach out to career services. I also heard that once you get accepted and you start, you need to get involved. And I heard that from many different areas. I heard that from advisors to the dean of the College of Business to everybody that was trying to help us with the smooth transition from transferring. And they said, get involved. I'm like, okay, awesome. I'm going to get involved and I'm going to be a part of all of these all of these organizations and projects. And guess what? It didn't work because I was trying to get to be a part of everything, but there's only so many hours in a day, right? So I didn't really understand that you needed to be involved with quality, not as much as quantity. So I would take, if I were you, I would take 1 or 2 months when you first start. They have all of these different fairs, like similar to career fairs, but they're more for organizations that exist on campus, and you're going to see everything from the boat club to the bike club to professional organizations to Greek society. But I would also Greek life. I would also say get a little bit of time to get involved with those and learn about them and what they do, and go to a couple of meetings so you can learn and see what they're about and see what you'd be interested in. But then just make up your mind, choose a couple of organizations that you know are going to help you, and try to become a leader in those, because you don't really have a lot of time. You have 2 years, right? 2, 3 years at max. So go out and become a leader, try to get involved, and because that experience is going to help you with your resume. It's going to help you get internships, and it's going to help you with the job search, because the reason that we go to college is to get jobs and get a good placement in the workforce. So that is something that I would have done differently as well. And then my last comment is that internships are huge. And you, as they mentioned before, networking with the professors and everybody that is in your college is going to help you get those internships. But when you first start, take a little bit of time to maybe just 1 hour a week or maybe 2 hours a week, look for some internships, because you're going to need those for some classes, sometimes for academic requirements, or just to get your foot in the door to getting a job, because everybody's going to ask you, hey, what experience do you have? When I first started this job at Centas, they usually hire people that have 2 to 4 years of experience. And I didn't have any experience. So the way that I was able to get it was through the professional sales club at USF. And through that experience, or through those connections, I was able to network and come in for an interview, and I got the position. So those are the main things that I can think of coming from all of those perspectives, but I would love to know which questions you have, or if there's anything that you'd like to add to it.
Well, Renata, can you talk about any differences you notice with class size or just even expectations of faculty in terms of maybe homework or exams? Was there much difference, and how did you deal with that?
For sure, yes. So classes are much larger at first, and then not as much in your senior year. So in my junior year, one of my classes was Principles of Marketing. There were 400 people in the same class, and uh, it was very difficult to get a hold of the professor, because each class was assigned a TA, and your teaching assistant, your TA, was the person that you had to go to for any questions. So that was an adjustment coming from small classes to large classes, but y'all know that, right? So the one thing that I did to kind of minimize that effect, or that change or to adjust, I made it a point to every semester meet the professor. Didn't matter if it was week 10. I found a way to get on their calendar because meeting the professor at least, or having that connection, or them knowing your name, makes such a big difference when you're trying to ask them questions, or when you're trying to prepare for exams, or just learn a little bit more about the subject. So going to their office hours is a big one, and now that everything is virtual, it's even easier because they have that a lot of time, and they are going to send you their Zoom links, and you can just come in, or you can just schedule an appointment or email them. But I would make it a point to do that, because that will make it easier. If you have any questions, they'll be more than happy to help you because they know you and they know that you care because you took the time to introduce yourself.
What resources did you take advantage of that may help you, whether it's with papers or assignments or studying? Can you talk about some of those offices on campus that might be different than what we
Mhm.
offer here at Lake Sumter?
Yes, I feel like there's a lot of different resources for everything. Bigger universities have larger budgets, so they're able to purchase a lot of software and things that we weren't able to have at Lake Center. So, for example, I had access to all of the Adobe suite, and I knew that learning those different programs or those softwares was important for me getting the job. So that was one of the places that I went to. I went to they were called like the software center, or the apps, something like that. And it was in the library, and you just went in, talked to the front desk, and asked them questions. And that's basically what I did. Hey, what are some of the things that students use? What do you think business majors are going to need? And a lot of times they're able to help you because they are helping those students on a regular basis. And even if they're not in the College of Business or the College of Engineering or medicine, they are there to help you through that process. So they're familiar with it, and a lot of times I found that helpful. And then also career services was the biggest one for me, the biggest resource, because I just used a lot of different services that they had. One of the things that they use is Handshake. Handshake is a platform to get jobs, and people reach out to you, and you can reach out to them, and you can keep your profile similar to LinkedIn. So that was another way. Sometimes people would reach out to me that way, and I would then reach out to them on LinkedIn. So that, I think career services is one of the biggest assets that we have. In terms of getting ready for assignments and tests and all that, and submitting those, I thought it was really helpful to go to the center of the major. So there's the writing center or the math center, or I know like Sumter had some of that too. So coming to a writing center before submitting a paper, not of course the night before the day is it's due, but finding people there that you know, that you meet, and that you trust, that can help you. And I have made such a good friend from the writing center that I could just we texted back and forth if I had a question, or if I could if I was applying for an award, for example, and I wanted to get a letter of recommendation from this person, and I would ask her, hey, what email would you think, what style would you think that I should send to this person, and she'd just answer me. So I felt like that helped me with navigating the job search process as much as submitting assignments, and getting a second eye to review my assignments. I would love to be a resource for you guys too. I would love to help if you have any questions, if you'd like to do a one-on-one, or if you'd like to learn more about USF, if you're thinking about USF, or even jobs, anything that you need. So I'm gonna paste my LinkedIn link over here. And if you guys want to connect with me, please send me a message first. So when you click on connect, there's an option to add a note. So just add a note and say that you're from this workshop, and I'll know exactly who you are.
Bethany, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna just see if any students had any questions first. I guess my question is there anything that really surprised you with your transition to USF? Was there anything that kind of really took you back a couple steps?
I think the getting involved part of it. getting involved. Everybody said, get involved, get involved, get involved. There was this one workshop when I first started, when I first transferred, there was this workshop for transfer students and it was mandatory. So they made, I think, 5 different sessions and you just had to figure out which one was a fit in your schedule the best. But they all said that, get involved. And I was like, okay, get involved. So I was a little surprised with how much there was to do and how many opportunities there were. What I didn't know is that there was no way to do as much as I wanted to do. And I thought I could do it all and I could go to all the meetings and it would work, but it wasn't good because I wasn't focusing on the right things. So I think what I underestimated or what surprised me was that prioritizing is one of the best skills that you're gonna need. And if I had known that a little bit earlier, I think I would have enjoyed more the time in the organizations that I wanted to be in, which were the ones that I ended up staying with until my senior year, until the very end.